In many ways, my job as a film critic and a Pixar critic can be very difficult or easy depending on how you look at it. But sometimes, once in a blue moon, from an unexpected source of inspiration, you get a film that brings you back, reminds you of why Pixar is the king of animated movies. And today, that film gets to be Ratatouille. No, I'm just kidding. Ratatouille. Nobody knew how to pronounce this fucking name back then. That's why they put in the commercial where he is pronouncing the name, so we all knew how to fucking pronounce it. Anyway, this still was within the era of Pixar where I wasn't really watching Pixar movies. The next movie, I think after Cars, that I really sat down and watched around when it came out, was Toy Story 3. So I kind of missed one of the best eras of Pixar. This is kind of my favorite time of Pixar. And if you remember my previous reviews, I always kind of say, yeah, so then there was Cars, and then Ratatouille, and then we hit the big good Pixar movies or whatever. And I feel bad about that statement, and I want to revise that for reals, right here and right now. Because, much like Cars, this movie is another one that, having really focused on it this time around, and really sat there and watched it, I really enjoyed, and there's so many good aspects to it. And I want to start off by making a confession about myself, and maybe a reason, definitely a reason, this film has always been less favored by myself. I've always thought it was pretty good, but what's holding me back is my phobia, okay? I probably shouldn't admit this on the internet for everyone to hear, but my biggest phobia is rats and mice, and I hate them. I'm a cat person, We don't like those, and luckily I haven't had any trouble with them here because of my cats, I'm assuming, but in the past I have, and as a kid I have, and, before, when I was living, at my mom's place, I definitely, I lived in the basement for several years there, and I would definitely encounter them from time to time, so my aversion all began when I was a kid, and I really I get wormed out by them, and sometimes at my job I kind of have to deal with these fucking little mice running around and shit. Oh, I can't bear to see them. I don't even like dead ones, alive, any of it. All of it wigs me out, and I'm getting the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. So for me to say, this is my point of all of this. I'm not trying to be vulnerable and let you know on my darkest secrets or anything. For me to say all of that and then say that this movie is great, it should tell you a lot, and that's actually a part of the movie too, is rats are really generally hated by people, and I'm certainly one of them, but and in real life I'm not giving them any slack, because I do really hate the real ones. But in animated form, I understand the message that we need to not disrespect people, give every person the right shot, even if they don't look like they can be what they aspire to be. We have to give them the chance to be, And I think that's a really beautiful message. That gives me a lot of hope. I'm a writer, even these videos, honestly, you know, nobody's seeing this, you know, for the most part right now. A couple of my friends and a couple other people. I don't have that many subscribers, but I do it out of the passion of it, you know? My other channel, after several years, like, I don't know, like, fucking at least 10 years, it's more than that, but it's finally, like, kind of taking off a little bit. I mean, not like a huge extent, but I'm continuing to get subscribers, and that's cool. And I have some plans for this channel to kind of make that happen too, but at the end of the day, these are just passion projects for me, you know? They're not paying the bills, and that's fine, but I do invest a lot of time into it, so I want it to be good. Now, I'm probably not doing the best I can do, because I could always edit it and put footage here and here, you know, especially of games and stuff. When I used to do that, those videos were really good. I've gone back and watched some of those, even with the choppy editing, voice-wise or clip-wise, they're actually still really well done by comparison to what I make now. But what I make now is something practical that I can actually get out, and I still get a lot of what's going on there out, you know? Maybe it doesn't have that same flavor, that same spice to it, but um, all this to say that, you know, I feel that. I'm passionate about my craft, you know? Um, and you know, I'm probably an unlikely source to be anybody cool or big or famous. Because I don't know all the secrets and I don't really care about any of that. But much like Remy, I just want to make videos, you know? He just wants to cook, and that's kind of the whole thing. But everyone kind of puts him down because rats can't cook, you know? And that's... I think that's really cool. And I think... especially, you know, he's an outlier to his group. He wants more. He wants more from life, you know? He aspires to more than they aspire to. They're just looking to survive. He is looking for purpose, for passion. He's looking to find himself, too, and I think that's really beautiful. And his relationship with Linguini eventually gets, you know, very symbiotic and pretty beautiful in a sense, and there's a lot of betrayal and heartbreak at different points, but much like in Luca, he stands up for him, you know. At one point he shows everyone the secret near the end of the movie, and they nearly all leave him except for Colette, who comes back and actually is willing to help him, you know. And I like all the stuff with him and having to find out that he's Gusto's son and all of that. But even if he wasn't, I think that would almost make even a better story, because that almost feels like a plot thing at that point, you know, just to get him to get the restaurant so that he can have a chance at anything. But the idea is anybody can cook, and a cook can come from anywhere, like Anton says in his final little speech there at the end, which is a really powerful and great speech, and it's just about critiquing things, and sometimes we need to look to unexpected places for who's gonna be able to do wonderful things in this world. And you know, also, okay, here's another thing, a little small thing, but it takes place in Paris, a city that I love, you know. Fucking love Miraculous Ladybug. I aspire to, it's like the tippy top of my list to go there someday and just see the Eiffel Tower and stuff, and go to the Dupencheng bakery or whatever the fuck, because it's real, it's there. It's not there, it's not Marinette and her family running it, obviously, but I just... So that's another great aspect. The score by Michael Giacchino again. That guy's the best. Wasn't this Brad Bird? Didn't he do this movie? Like, that makes a lot of sense too. So yeah, anyway. It's just a really powerful story, overall. And, you know, of course, near the end there, they set, or in the middle, sort of, they set up this antagonistic force. I mean, he's kind of there from the get-go, but he's constantly like putting this restaurant down and just everything, and it's so powerful. He's sitting there smiling evilly the whole time. You know, he wants them to fail, and it's so powerful of a moment to see, you know, all these rats work together to make this food for him, and then he eats it, and it gives him this flashback to his childhood, you know, and it's beautiful, and it's like, you know, you kind of get exactly what he's feeling in that moment. They don't have to say like anything. You just see that scene with him and his mom, and then it flashes back to reality, and he's smiling and he's eating it, and you're like, oh, that's wow. And you know, and even they say like, oh, Ratatouille, this is a dish, like, why would we make this dish for him? This is such a stupid dish to be making for him. He's not gonna, this isn't bougie enough for him, you know, or whatever, but it ended up being the exact thing that he needed, and I don't know if, like, Remy sensed that or whatever. There's a lot of theories about Remy, too, like Gusteau had a rat, too, because they found rat hair, but it didn't have to necessarily be Linguini's hair that was the rat hair. It could have been the other, like, the Gusteau hair that they had, or whatever. Anyway, I think that ending is really powerful. Most, you know, a lot because of Remy and Linguini and Colette and all of that too, but also the Anton parts really sell it, because it's like he gives this really humbled review of the place, and um it's so much, it's so great too in the ending there, where you know, you see him and he's sitting there and he's happy, and he even knows that the rat, I like the part too where they like, you gotta wait till everyone leaves, and he's like, so be it, and then he sees the rat is the chef, and he just sits there and listens to the story, and then thanks him for the meal and leaves. It was, you know, it's, and then he writes this wonderful review about it and doesn't spoil the secret or anything. Of course, the health inspector and the other guy let out the secret at some point, but you know, it just, it's so wonderful to see that this guy who's so cynical and so jaded and just wants to hate everything, and then he just has this newfound passion for food, you know, and he's happy and excited again and stuff, and there's just something so heartwarming about that, you know. It's magical. It's just, the way they put the whole movie together is just really good. I don't know. I used to think, like, you know, probably about half of the movie was just okay, but I at this point I really, you know, like, okay, everyone always talks about that scene at the end with the Anton stuff and the review and all that. That's kind of the most famous scene, right? Much like Up, how the beginning is the most famous part, but much like Up, where the whole rest of the movie is amazing and fantastic, and everyone writes it off because of the first 10 minutes. And they're always just like, oh yeah, the first 10 minutes are great, and the rest of the movie, it's okay. No, the rest of the movie is great. And that's exactly what Ratatouille is too. The rest of the movie is great as well. And I'm here to say it. I hate rats, but I love this movie. And that is saying a lot. Especially that scene at the beginning. I just wig out with the old lady, and then, like, they're all infested in her house and shit. I would die of shock. I would literally fall over and just die, and the rats would probably consume my body. And I just fucking hate to think about that, but I have nightmares about rats sometimes. Like, seriously, I fucking hate them, okay? For me to sit here and be able to get past that and watch this movie and accept, you know, it's pretty much the message of the movie, except that rats could be more than they are, and they could have chosen a more perfect animal to fuck with me and really get the message across that, like, you know, oh. You know, I already did talk about that in my Indiana Jones 3 review that nobody fucking watched, about how much I hate rats. So I guess that's not the first revelation time on this channel about it. I probably mentioned it elsewhere, but I just, it blew me away, you know? Much like Cars. I got really emotional at it, you know? And it's like, this has never been like one of my tippy top like Pixar movies, but now it's definitely in the running for the moment. It's pretty high up on the list because I just think it has a lot of beautiful messages in it about how anybody can aspire to be great. And maybe not any, like he says, maybe not anybody can be a great chef, but anybody can, a great chef can come from anywhere. And I even still think the first part is true too, you know? If you're passionate about it, go out and do it, you know? You just gotta do what makes you happy. And even if you're not very good at it, maybe you'll get good at it someday. And even if you don't, who cares? If it makes you happy, go out and do it. Unless it's murder or rape or pedophilia or something. Don't do those things. Those are terrible. Get help. Go to therapy, please. And get some help if those are the things that give you purpose in life, you know? The things that should give you purpose are things like writing and art and watching Pixar movies and cats and family and video games. I don't know, books. The moments that you really value on this earth, you know, that's what should give you passion in life. So yeah, I think the movie just is really good and it does a really good job at capturing all of that. It's a good looking movie. Visually, obviously I get a little clammy at like the mic stuff. I really I just really don't. I didn't like tense up or like wig out at any point in the movie, but like, oh man, thinking about it now, I am. I hate them. I just oh, so gross. Anyway, so it's a great movie, great soundtrack. It looks good. It was an important movie, but you know, it is. This time around, it was good. I feel like every movie, like I have like enjoyed all of the ones that I watched more frequently, but like, you know, and I have seen Cars a lot, but Cars kind of blew me away this time. Like Ratatouille blew me away this time. You know, like that's pretty cool. So I'm just looking forward to the rest of the movies, kind of still blowing me away, you know? And maybe some of the underrated ones especially. There's still a few out there. I don't have much hope for Brave or Good Dinosaur, because I know those ones are kind of mediocre, but about half of Brave is good, with the except for the parts with the bear. That part is just dumb. So, you know, it's great. We'll see how I feel going forward. But for now, it's really, really powerful, really amazing movie. Pixar does it again, man. Damn you, Pixar. No, they did it, though. You know, it's great. So, I'm going to give Ratatouille a 9.2 out of 10. So, until next time, stick around, subscribe to join the Bad Girl Coven. You can't even... Look at this shit. You can't even see. It's like fucking... By the way, this copy of the movie, for some reason, doesn't work. I bought it off of eBay, and the discs are nice and everything. Maybe I should try it again, but I remember we had a Pixar marathon several years ago, where we couldn't get it to work or whatever, so I don't know. It's on Disney Plus. That's the way I watched it this time, so... Anyways, it's a great movie. Until next time, stick around, subscribe to join the Bad Girl Coven, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Never forget, magic comes from the heart. And that's it. Emily